Welcome back to the Fannie Awards. It's me, Andrew Fantasia, your host, and it's day 9 of the Fannies. We're on the precipice. We're almost there. Today, we're giving out the award for the second best motion picture of the year and the absolute worst motion picture of the year. I'd like you all to just bear with me and pretend that this Fannie is silver-plated so that it looks more like a second-place trophy, even though this film deserves gold anyway because it's so great. Please put your hands together for the number 2 best film of the year, which is Polite Society. If nothing else, I just hope that this little YouTube video, which will probably only get like 40 views max if I'm lucky, serves as an adequate thank you to the people responsible for making Polite Society happen. What starts off looking like just a cheesy martial arts picture ends up evolving into a charming coming-of-age story about 2 sisters, which then becomes, well, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but it gets cooler and cooler as it goes. In a nutshell, it tells the story of a girl named Ria, who wants to be a martial arts champion. Her older sister helps her train, and the two have a great relationship, until suddenly, older sister gets swept up with a new rich boyfriend who may or may not be an evil mastermind, and suddenly everything in Ria's life goes haywire. Polite Society introduces us to Priya Kansara and Ritu Arya, who are 2 bona fide action and comedy stars. The fact that neither of these 2 have been snapped up for a Marvel project yet is insane, because Polite Society proves they can do all of that and then some. From the fresh original concept, to the bone-crunching action, to the moving story, and everything in between, Polite Society just soars. Okay, friends and enemies, this is it. So I asked you to pretend that Polite Society's Fannie Award was silver, to fit the whole theme. Now I'm going to ask you to pretend that this shiny gold special Fannie Award is poopy brown, because it's time to talk about the most disappointing film of the year. And I don't like doing this. I'm not that kind of guy. I'm not a negative Nancy. I like movies. They're hard to make. I get it. I've made some. They're not easy. And I'm not here to disparage anybody or rain on anyone's parade or all that jazz. But sometimes movies just suck. That's all there is to it. And the nominees for the following films are blatant, shameless examples of that. The nominees for the most disappointing film of 2023 are The Boogeyman, Leave the World Behind, Rebel Moon, Transformers: Rise of the Beasts, Wish. All right, it's time. Let's get this over with. Plug your nose, close your eyes, and give the most disappointing Fannie Award to Rebel Moon. Look, I don't worship at the altar of Snyder like a lot of deeply disturbing people on Twitter do, but I like the guy, and I think most of his films have been pretty cool. And I'm a person who's been waiting ages for a new film franchise full of so much deep original lore that it can give the Star Wars juggernaut a run for its money. And since Rebel Moon kept being touted as Snyder's answer to Star Wars, I thought there was a chance I might get my wish at last. I didn't. Within this gray, ugly 2-hour blob that Netflix is apparently trying to pass off as a movie, there are shreds of stuff to love. Genuine sprinkles of gold, like Anthony Hopkins' robot character, or the giant spider lady, or the guy who tames a griffin like something straight out of an 80s fantasy. But everything else is just wretched. Snyder kept saying, "This is my Star Wars, this is my Star Wars." But did he see Star Wars? Because Star Wars has fleshed out characters, and a plot, and color, and heart. Rebel Moon doesn't even know what heart is. It's just wafer-thin characters doing what Snyder believes are badass things in slow motion against the most dull, grayish-brown, unappealing backdrops ever put on screen in a motion picture. Like, has he ever laid eyes on a color wheel? Snyder, I'm gonna put this color wheel on screen here. Look at it. Those colors exist on the spectrum. You can use them. No one will stop you. Again, I like the guy, but what's he doing? What is this? What is Rebel Moon trying to say or do or be? Who is it for besides the Netflix shareholders? And if the so-called extended director's cut is truly the better movie, then just release that movie. Instead, we get this half-assed attempt to recreate what happened with Justice League, which were circumstances born out of a personal family tragedy. If Netflix is seriously trying to engineer a facsimile of that, again, to exploit it for clicks, then in all seriousness, fuck them very much. This could have been something so special. I believe Snyder is a creative dude who just loves movies and wants to have fun, and I respect him for that. But I can't respect Rebel Moon, not after it failed to deliver on every promise it made. Well, now that that's behind us, we can just take a deep breath again and look forward to nothing but gold, because tomorrow, this is it, boys and girls. It's the last day of the Fannie Awards, where we have to give out the final Fannie for Best Picture. It all comes down to this. Tomorrow, find out what movie cracked the #1 spot. See you then.